Olena Tregub is a Ukrainian expert in policy analysis, policy design, and reform implementation, with a special focus on corruption prevention in economic and security sectors. Since 2017, Olena has been Secretary General of NAKO, the Independent Defense Anti-Corruption Committee, an international oversight body created by Transparency International. It's her mission to strengthen democratic oversight over defense spending, increase accountability and transparency of the sector. And of course, as we know, that is absolutely crucial in wartime. And that is going to be one of the big themes that we talk about in today's episode. Welcome to Silicon Curtain. Please like, subscribe, and as always, do add comments. It helps tremendously for new people to discover the fantastic guests that give up their time to help amplify Ukraine and the issues that we should all be caring about. Please do also check out the validated Ukrainian charities. There are links that appear in the description of the video. Olena, welcome back, I should say, because this is the second time I've been fortunate enough to have you on the channel.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you again, Jonathan.
And a lot has happened. You've been involved in some fantastic events since we last met. We met in December in Paris, where we were part of an event where I was moderating a panel on disinformation. And there's been some things remain the same, some things that have changed. One of the things that's changed, and I don't think we can take full credit for this, but the French government, since our event in December, there's been a marked change, not just in the language and rhetoric, but in actual material support for Ukraine and removing, crucially, some of those red lines. So there's been a marked change, not just in words, but also in actions. What is your perception of these changes, and how important is it that at least one of the allies is really sort of going full on to support Ukraine?
Yeah, I think it's not only the one ally who changed the position. We heard from other countries, also the United Kingdom, that we can use their weapon to strike Russian territory. Now, even the United States also said the same, except for going 200 kilometers deep inside Russia, striking Kremlin. Otherwise, we see that now the way it works is that there is one example, one brave country, and then other countries follow. And this is something which we have been observing since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. The same was, remember, a discussion who will be the first country to give us tanks. And there was this discussion between countries. Then there was discussion who will be the first country to give us plane. The same thing followed. So what we are observing, it's just a repetition of the same pattern. But finally, this is something which makes more sense for Ukrainians, because we have been at war for 2 years, and we actually do not understand how come that for Russia, it's not really a war, it's a special military operation where actually they just go in and destroy our whole country, our civilian targets, buildings, universities, hospitals, people, children, energy. And we are just trying to protect, but only inside our own territory, and we cannot strike back. And so now I think there was a lot of convincing done. There was a lot of government, non-governmental meetings. And finally, I think our partners understood that there is absolutely nothing wrong with striking Russia back, especially their military facilities, their energy facilities, and especially the area on the Ukrainian border where Russian troops are amassing. Because if we don't do that, they will go and try to invade Ukraine from the north again, like it happened in 2022. It's very simple. And if they know that now we can be striking inside Russia, probably it will be harder for them to gather troops. So it's something very basic from the military point of view. But as you see, from political and diplomatic point of view, it was a very long decision. And now we are still expecting from France, from other countries, to see how the words, for example, of Emmanuel Macron, that now he will stand up to Putin, that he will consider sending troops to Ukraine. Are those words, or there will be action? There will be some more serious action this summer, and there are some encouraging signs.
And he's also talked about sending French planes. I've been looking at some of the military analysis. I'm not an expert in this area, but it has been said that the kind of capabilities that he's saying he would get Ukrainian pilots trained on are actually rather a good fit. So it doesn't look like he's just ticking a box. He's judging what does Ukraine actually need in order to make progress against Russia and even deter Russia. Do you think France is thinking strategically? And is it thinking about what Ukraine needs, not just to survive, but about genuinely being victorious?
Well, I think France definitely is moving in that direction. I have made many trips to Paris in the last year, together with our civil society colleagues, our former military colleagues, our members of MOD Anti-Corruption Council. And what we hear is that, yes, they clearly say we want Ukraine to win, and we want to basically give you what you need. But France, of course, doesn't have the resources that Ukraine needs. And France can only partially help, and France can, with its example, push other countries. For example, when I was at a similar gathering in Berlin just a few weeks ago, members of German parliament was saying that they acknowledge they lack leadership in Germany when it comes to defending Europe. But if France leads with the example, Germany will follow with its money, resources, and weapons. So they basically acknowledge that this political symbolic role matters a lot. And therefore, I think France can do things like, for example, sending veteran pilots to pilot planes, French nationals. They can be retired, but it's a brave move that can be done. Sending French instructors to Ukraine, putting air defense protection at their in the west of Ukraine, shooting down Russian missiles and drones from NATO space, but into Ukraine, just like it was done for Israel. This can be done by encouraged by countries like France, for example, if Romania would start doing so. So we are waiting to see that, because I think why all this is happening now, this shift in Europe, where Europe is very much ahead of the United States when it comes to their decisiveness to help protect Ukraine, it's because they realize that it is a scary scenario for them if Ukraine loses the war, and they didn't see good developments in the recent months.
We need to break out of a cycle, don't we? Because it's become increasingly clear, I think, to anyone who's watching the Russia-Ukraine war over these last 2.5 years, that the incremental supply of weaponry is not just accidental. It's not out of caution. It's not out of political impasse. And that was one of the dialogues last year, or narratives that are being put forward. This is all the fault of Congress. I think to put aside that sort of partisan, take on the issue, it's not. A lot more could have been done by the US, even during the impasse period. It's become quite clear, I think, that Berlin and Washington, for most of this war, have been more worried, perhaps, about Russian collapse and the consequences of it than about Ukrainian victory.
Yes, that's right. The issue is that majority of countries, they have not made a political commitment to say we are helping Ukraine to win. They are still saying we will stand with Ukraine as long as it takes. There is no end game strategy for Ukraine. I'm talking now about Biden administration. This is still the same. It didn't change. And now even the Republican Party in the US, they start criticizing them because they say, why to help Ukraine if you have no goal? What is your goal with Ukraine? Is your goal to defeat Russia? If not, what's your real goal? The endless war. And it can be compared to what was happening in Afghanistan when US was involved there, but they lost any strategy, any perspective, and they didn't actually understand why they are involved there. And the same can happen in Ukraine. And this is a very bad policy. And therefore, I think Europe sees this policy as a bad policy, and the war, which continues so long, is very bad for Europe, of course. Their effect on Europe is bigger, much bigger than on the US, on European economy, on security. And they just now they say more about changing this slogan, "We stand with Ukraine as long as it takes to," we will help Ukraine whatever it takes, do whatever it takes to Ukraine to win. And I heard people in Germany, in the UK, especially Nordic countries, Eastern European countries saying that, because it's very clear Russia is destroying Ukraine day by day, night by night. More and more damage is done. And this winter will be much more difficult winter from perspective of humanitarian potential humanitarian crisis than last winter, because they were able to knock out our energy infrastructure. Where will these people go? Already there is data that 1.5 million people left Ukraine because of the energy problem. And now this winter, we can tell them that maybe millions will flee Ukraine again, because they would not be able to have their houses heated. And they will all end up in Europe. It will be additional, of course, burden for Europe to integrate, to support those people. And it will keep going on and on. And basically, I think that Europe understands that they need to finish this war as soon as possible. And they also understand that they should finish this war with Ukrainian victory, because if this war is finished with Ukrainian defeat and Russian victory, then they understand that probably there will be no finish of the war, because there will be continuation into Baltics, into Moldova, into NATO space. Yes, and they were afraid that they cannot probably help Ukraine too much because Russia will use nuclear weapon, or that Russia will collapse if Russia loses. But it's all successful disinformation from the Russian side, because they are able to deter partners from helping Ukraine by threatening Ukraine with nukes and partners with nukes. Once they use the nukes, it's over for them, because they will not be able to threaten anymore and use it as a tool. There is no use then for Russia to do such a thing. And then also when it comes to Russian collapse, Russia lost many wars before it didn't collapse. Why also we think that Russian collapse would be something so horrible, right? When USSR collapsed, nothing bad really happened. There were no nuclear wars happening on our continent. So basically, I think this is just a successful Russian psychological operation going on, but this operation maybe with time becoming less and less effective, and hopefully the fear will disappear gradually.
And of course, many experts over the last 3 years have been saying, look, if Putin wins in Ukraine, he will go further. And it's been, endless articles have been written about it. But fundamentally, I don't think politicians believed that was a reality. If they believed it was a reality, then they would have done something a lot more. They would have mobilized their economies into war economies. They would have retooled factories to produce armaments, and they would have massively expanded their armies. Some of that is starting to take place. We see Poland and we see the Baltics are definitely doing that. They understand, and I think have understood all the way through the risks there. Do you have a sense that this is slowly starting to dawn on other Western allies and the symbolism of leaders, including Zelensky, at the D-Day events in Normandy yesterday? This does seem to have really crystallized what has been a very slow realization that this stuff isn't just, articles in foreign policy. This is real, and Russian expansionism uh, could could continue unchecked.
Well, yes, I think this belief is slowly emerging in Europe. I can see the difference in different discussions. I heard one opinion expressed by a Russian expert that if countries, the allies in their Second World War, didn't announce war against Hitler, he would just stop and he would just like invade part of France, part of part of Czech Republic, and he would just stop. And it's just like with Ukraine. Don't announce war to Putin, because he will just take Ukraine, just give him Ukraine, and he'll stop, and everything will be nice again and peaceful. This is complete nonsense, because if he takes Ukraine, the international order will be completely broken. We will not live in a controlled environment anymore like we used to. He will use Ukrainian men who will be left on Ukrainian territory and forcefully recruit them into Russian army. He will take Belarusian men, and then he will use all these troops against Europe. He will send them against Europe. And he did already these things before. When he took Donbass over years, he's been taking young people from their men and sending them to fight Ukrainian army, even though they were not really willing to do so. Around 60,000 people were sent like this. But they have no choice when they end up in this authoritarian, very repressive environment. So it's basically, I think, once Russia started this, they cannot stop unless they are stopped. Because if they stop voluntarily, for example, as some Europeans naively believe, for Russians, first of all, it will not be seen as a complete victory in society, because if you watch Russian TV, they all talk about taking over Europe. And I actually talked to the French magazine about it, that Putin preparing the young people in Russia for taking over Europe, and they are not that much interested in Ukraine. They want collapse of EU, NATO. They want domination there. And so I think that people in Europe understand it more, general population understands it more, and politicians are more aware of Russian other threats, like hybrid threats, like using drones, using airspace, water domain, using cyber capabilities, meddling into election. All that Russia is already doing. Russia is waging this war. So they see that. And I think that they should understand that all these actions are precursors for their conventional invasion. If Russia is doing that, what will keep Russia from not going further, especially if Russia is supported by China, by Iran, by North Korea? If these countries cooperate, these countries all hate the West, why don't they push forward and use Russia as an icebreaker to basically break the West? It's a possible scenario, and I think people are realizing it better now.
And I think the evidence has been piling up, but many foreign policy experts tend to see the world in silos. You know, that's a problem here, that's a problem there, and they don't necessarily join the dots. I think that Russian commentator you mentioned there was Viktor Shenderovich, and the piece that he produced was actually incredibly powerful. Saying that it is utterly delusional to think that Putin won't stop, in the same way that it was delusional to think that that Hitler would have stopped, especially when he got the taste for victory. As more and more weapons inevitably end up in Ukraine, and that, of course, on this channel we've been arguing for the last 2.5 years that Ukraine should be oversupplied with capability, not undersupplied. At the same time, however, one of the factors that may be an excuse that some politicians deploy is around transparency and where those weapons end up. And I think it's interesting to point to history. If you go back to 2014, oligarchs, the Yanukovych regime had actually hollowed out the army, and corruption was at an extraordinary level in the army. But that kind of then, to use that argument, ignores the changes that have taken place in the 8 years that followed and during the full-scale war. So could you outline for us why this argument that providing arms to Ukraine, is somehow a waste? What are the systems and processes that have been put in place to ensure that munitions given to Ukraine are genuinely extremely beneficial and useful?
Well, first of all, there is a very basic thing, is that Ukraine is in an existential war right now, and people's life is at stake. People literally are putting themselves on the front line right now. And because of that, they are not allowing any corruption happening when it comes to weapons, because there is already scarcity of weapons. There is horrible, horrible scarcity. And if they don't use the weapons that they have at hand, Ukraine will be overrun completely. So what we are hearing about different military units on the front line, commanders, it's just not like, some fake war that people think that like Afghan government was supported by US, but they really were not motivated. They were not sure what to do. It's not like that at all. Russia is there for Ukraine for real, to destroy Ukraine, the whole country. And everybody understands it in Ukraine, that it's about survival. And therefore, when it comes to weapon, we didn't have a single big incident reported in the last 2 years when some weapon were misused or sold or something of that kind, actually. And there were numerous inspections by partners, by their general inspector of the Department of Defense of the United States, and they all show that all corruption that happened on a very, very low technical level, and it was about actually some logistics, delivering not the full load, like the full truck from Poland to Ukraine, about customs declaration, about some, technical small issues, but it was not really about Ukraine doing some high-level political corruption on weapons. This never actually happened because of what I explained. And secondly, the involvement of civil society, media now is very significant. We did some reforms in our sector, in defense sector, which are much more progressive and faster than even during their like their initial invasion of 2014. Right now, in this last 2 years, everything really accelerated. So the transformation and corporate governance of Ukrainian defense industry, creation of 2 defense procurement agencies at the Ministry of Defense, creation of numerous reform offices involving civil society. All that is happening now. It's also why is this happening? The same reason why we cannot lose weapons, because it's about survival of Ukraine. We lack our resources, we lack money to buy and make our own weapons. And we need to manage our sector much more effectively to survive. And everything now is given to the war by the country, 50% of our budget. So I think it's just not the time where Ukraine can allow itself, some huge corruption, because then there will be no Ukraine, and everybody understands it.
You mentioned civil society. I think that's absolutely fascinating. We know that it was in 2014 when the official Ukrainian army was hollowed out and really not in a position to repel Russia's little green men and the sort of hybrid incursions into Luhansk and Donetsk. And at that stage, it was civil society that really mobilized to prevent the country from being overrun, which was a real risk. And whether it was military organizations or those supporting people on the front, or whether it was people just in their own towns resisting the fake insurrections that Russia was trying to foster, it's been a crucial factor. Is civic society activity, volunteer donation funding, getting high-spec equipment for particular battalions, how important is that now? Is it more of a morale boost, or is it still having an important material impact on the outcome of the war?
It is still happening. Their share of civil society contribution declined because people are getting poorer in Ukraine due to the war. And these big foundations, such as Prytula Foundation or Come Back Alive Foundation, they all say that they now struggle with receiving as much money as they used to. And at the same time, for example, when it comes to unmanned vehicles, the drones, their share of the government procurement increased. Before, the army relied on volunteers, they are called volunteers, contributions of those NGOs, of those individuals. And now many more systems by government were set up. So because of that also, there is no such urgent need that civil society will provide everything, because as you remember, at the beginning of the war, the full-scale war, civil society was even providing bulletproof vests, basic medical kits, everything. All that is now being taken care of by government since we are now for 2 years in war. And I think it's just an example that in our country we have a very old nation, but very young state. And that's why we have society of the country trying to protect the nation when things get really bad, and they do whatever is needed to protect the country. And yes, they were collecting resources for the front line. Then they were also engaged very actively since 2014 in reform of Ukrainian government institutions, like, for example, creating reform offices in the Ministry of Defense, and other institutions, creating independent anti-corruption bodies. All that was pushed by society. And now, since full-scale invasion, Ukrainian society also got engaged in international advocacy, because the country understood that our survival depends on our partners. We cannot sustain this war on our own. And we need to go around the world and convince the world to help us. So society became very active there, abroad, which is just a natural thing. And we see this as organic process in Ukraine. And it's actually what differs Ukraine from Russia, because Russian people are very state-oriented. Unless state tells them to do something, they don't really show that much initiative and idea and courage. But Ukrainians, they don't need to be asked or told. They just go and do things where they think that they can contribute.
In fact, it's worse, isn't it? Because I saw some reports, this was last year, but there were some people trying to do the equivalent of what Ukraine's doing, but on a very small scale. And that is, get clothes, boots, socks for their family members and the battalions of the family members in the Russian army. And some of the reports I saw suggested that the local FSB were actively trying to disrupt and prevent this kind of civic society activism, actually. Now, we can't get away from the fact that they are gathering funds for an illegal genocidal war, so we can't really look on that positively. But the Russian state looks to destroy any such manifestations of civic society.
Yes, that's right. And also, can you imagine, for example, common like Russians who are some members of some NGOs traveling around the world, meeting different politicians, high-level officials? What would Russian embassy do? What would Russian FSB do? Will they support them? Of course, it's unthinkable in Russia. But in Ukraine, for example, when I travel, my colleagues from other NGOs travel and we meet politicians, we meet officials, we speak, we give different presentations. Nobody tells us what to say in those presentations. We do it on our own. Then Ukrainian embassy officials, they approach us and thank us for doing that. Well, Ukraine is not Russia. That's the thing. We are two very different countries, very different cultures. And we used to be in one political authoritarian project, Soviet Union, and arguably Ukraine was the second most important country there. And Russia now wants to bring Ukraine back into that space. But I don't really understand how they are doing it if they see that Ukrainians are so different, and it will be so hard for them to even control the territory that they took. Even if they do this massive genocide, they cannot destroy a 40 million nation completely. And they now probably should have realized that Ukraine was part of USSR, not as a voluntary, partner in that imperial project, but probably because Ukrainians had no choice. And now, once Ukrainians have choice and they chose Europe, Russia cannot just accept it. But I think that Russians should analyze, and Putin, he should believe in the fact that society is just very different. And it's not that NATO wanted to invite Ukraine into NATO, but society, Ukrainian citizens, were pressuring their politicians to move them closer to NATO because it was the choice of the people. But for Russians, it's unthinkable because people are not supposed to have a choice, voice, any power, and they hate this. And that's the real reason why they started the war. But I don't understand also their Russian endgame. What are Russia plans to do with all these people, with this whole nation?
I think, unfortunately, their actions in Donbass suggest or hint at what they aim to do, and that is to take the local population and use them as fodder for the next war and the next one. It's a very crude, very ancient strategy, which unfortunately is utterly brutal and inhumane, but it does work. And we don't know the details at the moment, but it does seem, I'll be interested to get your point of view, that almost the entire male population of the Donbass of fighting age have been thrown into Putin's war. And we have to wonder how many, if any of them, will survive that experience.
No, that's right. Their figure I heard is 60,000 people. And yes, but they were thrown into war. But before that, remember that Donbass was under Russian information influence for decades. And these people were heavily, heavily brainwashed. And even they didn't really want to go fight. So it is possible, I think, of course, what Russia, the way Russia sees it, that they will do this scorched earth strategy, destroying cities which are on their kill list, like Dnipro, Zaporizhia, Kharkiv, Kherson, where they are constantly bombing those cities, constantly they create a humanitarian crisis there, so that people leave for Europe. And then those people who stay and who have no choice, then they think that they can either, put them through filtration camps and send them to Siberia, like it used to be in USSR, or other distant locations where they are sending Ukrainians right now, or they will use those Ukrainians who may feel bitter if they think that Europe didn't help Ukraine to protect our state, our country. They will use this bitterness, this disillusionment, the poverty, survival instinct to, yes, recruit them and put them against Europe. Yes, it's brutal, and they will probably, of course, switch off. They will try to switch off all information channels, so it will become harder for Ukrainians to get information. There will be brainwashing, maybe for a certain period of time. But yes, it may have certain effect. But we see now, observe what's happening on occupied territories. It's they are struggling because there are people there whose parents, for example, parents of children, choose Ukrainian language in school, and they ask occupying forces of Russians to let children learn Ukrainian language, for example. And this is where Russia now is doing a huge mistake, because when USSR was incorporating Ukraine, USSR was allowing the existence of Ukrainian culture, but only if this culture would be praising communism and USSR, only the right kind of culture which they envisioned. But at least they gave some space, even though it was not a good space. But the Russians, they are completely destroying everything Ukrainian now. They are much more vicious than USSR was. And this backfires.
I mean, it's clearly genocidal in its actions. The USSR, from many of the interviews I've had with the Ukrainians, allowed Ukrainian culture to exist as long as it wasn't considered at the same civilizational level as Russian culture. But as you say, it didn't seek to eradicate everything, just establish the primacy of Russian culture, which is bad enough. But as you say, it's slightly different from it's very different from what's happening now. It's just been announced that there are organizations that are seeking to put together recommendations to prosecute the leading propagandists. Mardan, Solovyov, Simonyan, I think there are a couple of others listed in there. There are about 8 in total. I'm sure there are many more within the Russian system who deserve to be prosecuted. I don't think Sakharova was in there, but there are plenty of them. They're all equally vile. What do you think is the importance of this, and what are the chances of these propagandists ever being put in a court of law and facing justice?
Well, if Russia loses the war, these people know that they are doomed, and there are chances for them to be prosecuted, because they are like, Goebbels, the leading figure for Hitler when it came to their Nazi ideology, and they are what they are doing. Of course, they're doing hate speech. They are doing propaganda of real genocide. So yeah, it's very important. They are active participants of this war. They are very, very active. And talked to many of my, some of my friends who were facing Russian soldiers during the real occupation of Sumy region, Chernigiv, and just these personal stories are very important because people had firsthand experience talking to Russian soldier. Why did you come here? What was your motivation? And these soldiers do believe those propagandists. They do believe that they had to go invade Ukraine because Ukraine became hostile state taken by NATO, and they were looking for some NATO military bases that didn't exist. It's crucial because Ukrainians didn't believe that Russia could go invade Ukraine because they could not understand what would motivate Russia. Countries are so related, so many relatives of Russians live in Ukraine and Ukrainians live in Russia, and they thought, how come that they would just go and do genocide against us? The mass graves, the raping, their mass shootings of civilians. And this is because the Ukrainians didn't pay attention that Russia has been brainwashing their population for decades prior to invasion, creating the image of Ukraine as a hostile, bad state, and Ukrainian people who are some poor peasants oppressed by their government, and their government is so corrupt, mismanages Ukraine, and Ukraine needs to be liberated and join Great Russia. They are brainwashing the same way now about Britain, about Poland. All this has an effect because a Russian soldier will gladly go and try to kill people in those countries because they are being conditioned for that for many years.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? For those who do not understand Russian, who cannot get the full sense of the vileness and the toxicity, the aggression, the envy, and the loathing that you get in almost every single minute of a Russian propagandist show, it's difficult to understand. And also the idea that the Orthodox Church has become an instrument of state terror and coercion, that is not a spiritual organization. Unfortunately, some of these propagandistic techniques really do work.
Yes, they do work. The Russian Orthodox Church is an active tool of Russian FSB, and maybe you know there is a group of Protestant Christians in the United States who are investigating how Russia killed almost 30 Protestant priests on Ukrainian territory. And one story, for example, that Stephen Moore, who is the head of this Ukrainian Freedom Project, is telling, is that when Russians captured a Ukrainian Baptist priest who was trying to evacuate pregnant women, they took him to the torture chambers for several weeks. And when they were electrifying him and torturing him, there was a Russian Orthodox priest standing over him, committing the act of exorcism, because he was supporting those people who were committing war crime, who were torturing civilian, Ukrainian civilian. So you understand, there's nothing Christian about torturing a person, but for Russian Orthodox Church, it's the right way to go. And Russian Orthodox Church is blessing their weapon, is playing a role in recruitment, supporting families of those soldiers. It's part of the Russian mafia state, unfortunately. It has nothing to do with religion, really.
Well, the last question I've got here, and I think this is a difficult one to imagine at the moment, but it's both optimistic but also slightly pessimistic. And that is, let's assume Ukrainian victory. Let's assume Ukrainian victory, that Ukraine manages to take back all of its sovereign territories, and then fights for reparations, etc. We know those could be very difficult to get everybody home, both refugee, displaced people, but also those who've been essentially abducted to Russia, including children. But these are ongoing processes, let's say. It's very easy to imagine that Russian propaganda will flip to a narrative to say, oh, Ukraine only won because of Western weapons. It will try to deny Ukraine agency in its own victory. Should we be planning to try and tackle that narrative now? Talk about how is not just Western weapons, it's actually Ukrainian weapons, Ukrainian innovation, how Ukraine wields those weapons, the will of Ukraine to fight for freedom and for their independence. Should we work in this narrative, and how should we do it to counter what is almost inevitably going to happen later? And unfortunately, I can say that there will be Western politicians who will fall for that narrative.
Well, Jonathan, frankly, this is the least thing that worries me. What narrative will be after Ukrainian victory? What worries me that there should be a Ukrainian victory, and we are not close to Ukrainian victory right now. We're further from it than last year. As for the narrative, I think it's very clear for the whole world, even for countries which are heavily affected by Russian disinformation, they're Latin American, Asian countries, Arab states, that Ukrainians are fighting. Everybody sees that Ukrainians are fighting with whatever they have. And without Ukrainians' willingness to fight, Ukraine would not be standing now, today. Kyiv would not be standing, and everybody understands it. So this agency cannot be taken away, actually, from Ukrainian people. I don't believe it, and everybody understands, even countries, those that don't belong to the West, that Ukraine does not receive enough military assistance. Everybody knows about it because Ukraine has been very vocal, Ukrainian politicians, society, that we don't have what we are asking for. You're not giving us what we need. We don't have, if you don't give us air defense, today our city of Kharkiv will be destroyed. We have nothing, no missiles left to intercept Russian drones and missiles. All that is being said, and all that is being spread around the world. So if hopefully there was calculation that in order for Ukraine to win, Ukraine should receive the double of what it is receiving now. And if Ukraine receives that, of course, that will be our victory together with the partners. But it won't be, I don't think it will be ever taken away from Ukraine.
I absolutely hope so. And of course, everybody who watches this channel, apart from the trolls, is very much working towards Ukrainian victory, thinking about how that can be achieved, thinking about how they can help. I advise people to get in touch, to contact Ukrainians locally, to get in touch with Ukrainian organizations if they do want to be part of that victory and help to ensure that Ukraine and its role in essentially saving Europe and its institutions from Russia is successful. But Olena, thank you for coming on the channel. Thank you for the work you do towards that victory. And Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Thank you for inviting.